2, 3, 4.
We get live right now, man. It's going down. Excited for the season. You know, we coming off a playoff win. I mean, you know, we had a couple wins.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Deer Diaries, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast brought to you by us here at the staff at Brew Hoop. Looks like it's just going to be me and Jack run a little bit of a two-man game here on this edition of the podcast, episode 223. Jack, how are you doing, my man?
You know, for a week where the team went 0-3, I'm actually feeling okay because I don't know, the team kind of competed a bit harder than I thought they would and did better than I thought they would in a lot of situations. I mean, only losing kind of in double digits, kind of low double digits in the final two games at least. So yeah, I'm actually feeling okay about the team, and don't know, it will be interesting from here, but yeah, I'm feeling all right. What about you?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, it was rough being there on Thursday and Saturday, just seeing how those games transpired, and I'll get into more of my thoughts about those two specifically later on. But it was just rough because they had their chances to get back into the game or win either of those games, and they just couldn't, which understandably, because like I said, we'll get into the main reason why that was in a little bit. But yeah, overall I'm doing good. It was a nice relaxing day after lots of travel over the last 3 days. Got to see, as feels like my weekly update about the Chicago Bears. They went to 8-3, actually held on to a lead and didn't have to come back in the final 5 seconds and win. The nice 31-28 win over the Steelers. And now they get to play on Black Friday against the Philadelphia Eagles on the road. So big one. If they win, they'll be the 2 seed in the NFC. And I'll have the tiebreaker over Philly. So lots of excitement in Chicago for the first time in like 7 years when it comes to football. All right, enough about the other sport. Let's get to the sport that you're all actually here for. That would be Milwaukee Bucks basketball. Let's just take a look back at the week. 3 games this week. If you listened last week, feel free to decorate me in any sort of clown makeup attire or put that meme template of me going from 1-2 to 2-1 to 3-0. Please do that. That would be great. So obviously the elephant in the room on Monday night is that Giannis strained his left groin, in a 118-106 loss against the Cavaliers. I believe he had, was it the first 14 points for the Bucks? Did I read that right?
He accounted for the first 23 points. It was an insane run. Yeah.
Okay. So accounted for the first 23. Good Lord. Okay. So unfortunately he leaves late in the second quarter, doesn't return. Turns out, it's a low grade left groin strain. Thankfully, since it is low grade, he's only out a week to 2 weeks. They lose that one, 118-106. Then they have Philadelphia come into town, lose 123-114 in overtime. They did have a 2-point lead with 14 seconds to go, but Tyrese Maxey hits 2 free throws to tie the game, and the Bucks screw up the final play with 4 seconds left per Doc Rivers. That's not me. And fading 3 misses at the buzzer, and the Sixers outscore the Bucks. What was that? Oh my God, what was it? I don't think, did they even score in overtime? I don't even know. Because I felt like
they kind of took the overtime by the scruff of the neck. So
yeah, it was not a good overtime for the Bucks. So they lose, and then Saturday, the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, Detroit Pistons, and the Pfizer, a team that the Bucks had beaten 13 times in a row and only had lost to like once or twice since the 2018-19 season. That didn't matter. Detroit went up by almost 30 points in the third quarter, and they went on to win 129-116. So I know you said that you were you feel better in spots about the team and how they competed. But what even from that did you learn about the Bucks this week?
Yeah, I learned, like I kind of mentioned or alluded to in the open, the Bucks, they probably, like, without Giannis, the way the team is set up, it is a kind of like one superstar show, and it's meant to be theoretically kind of like a bunch of role players who kind of fit ideally around him. But yeah, without Giannis, the soup just doesn't really taste too good. And but I genuinely appreciate how hard they're playing. Like I think I'm watching Ryan Rollins try and be a number one option and doing a damn good job at it, kind of the best job he can do at it. But I'm tired for him, watching him kind of getting dogged, because he's now at the top of the scouting report. He's the number one guy for all the other teams, and watching him in the Detroit game getting dogged by Asar Thompson, however you say his name.
Either one.
And yeah, it just I think I've liked a lot of what Kuzma's done and whatnot, but yeah, they just don't really. They don't have enough to beat most teams, I think, with the way how talented the league is. But what I will say is, I'm just like some of the coaching decisions, not doing them any favors in kind of, even if they might not be talented to win the games, there's a lot of coaching decisions that is like, just not Doc isn't doing them any favors. And I don't know, I kind of wrote down a few examples of some things we can talk about with coaching. And the first one was, you were obviously in the media room when Doc said this, but it got a lot of attention on social media. Doc's decision to bench Myles Turner in the overtime against Philly for Bobby Portis. And he said, quote, "We just thought we needed another scorer, another shooter with movement, where Myles is more stationary. Don't know if it mattered at that point." Now, a couple of things about that. Like, Bobby, movement shooter? Come again? I'm not sure about that. I kind of get what he's saying, like, from the standpoint of, like, if Bobby's going to maybe dribble into a post kind of ISO look and try and Charles Barkley himself down to the, I understand that kind of thinking, but at the same time, are you really looking at that as an option of clutch offense, in an overtime game, over, a Rollins pick and roll or something? I highly doubt that. It's just a really strange decision. And then the comment about, you don't know if it mattered at that point. The Bucks, I went back and checked the game log. The Bucks were down 4 points with 3 minutes 13 left in the game. They gave up 3 offensive rebounds after that point, after Turner left. Bobby, they were down 2 with 58 seconds left. And Bobby, there was a play where Grimes kind of drives into the zone, beats Gary Trent off the dribble. And Bobby is in quite a good position to just challenge vertically and wall up. And because he has no shot blocking instincts, he sticks his elbow right into Grimes' chest and fouls him. And it was just, this. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that whole decision? Because it just I was like, wait, why is Myles Turner not on the court right now? And it befuddled me.
Yeah, the more, in the moment, I guess, just trying to process everything when he said that, I felt like I understood in the moment. Okay, fine, if that's what you want to do or whatever. But, and I just pulled it up myself. The more I look back at it, I'm like, why are you benching your $30 million center for your backup center? Because you wanted a shooter that moved. I don't care. Let's just put this as an example. I don't care if it's Brooklyn Nets, Brooke Lopez. You're not playing Bobby Portis over a non-shooter in that scenario. Because Brook Lopez as at that time was a tremendous post player and was still a good rim protector. Because that's more of what you needed. You didn't need a 6'9", 6'10" movement shooter. You needed someone who could grab rebounds and protect the rim and who has the instincts to protect the rim. So it's like I felt like it was later. I didn't realize it was basically halfway through, if not a little before halfway through overtime when this happened. So yeah, I don't know what he was really thinking overall. I just don't.
Yeah.
I did not get it.
And I reiterate the point, like, you wanted a scorer in there, like as if like that's gonna be like, oh, okay, like with Giannis out, we're going to Bobby down the stretch of this game. It's like that's just weird. Anyway, then he had like, I don't understand the persistence with Cole Anthony. Like, I don't get it. Like it doesn't mean that you have to bench him for Mark Sears, like you wrote in your recap, but like I don't understand what he's giving them. I will give him credit. 5.1 assists per game on the season, so he's creating and he's made some really nice like skip passes throughout the season. He's got some passing instincts. I will give him that. But his shooting stats on the season: 41% from the field, 30% from the three-point line, and 53% from the free throw line. He has an average plus minus of negative 3.1. And he has 7 games with 3 or more turnovers. And that's not even counting the bad shots that just all end up in pick sixes down the other end anyway. Like the fadeaway, mid-range, off-balance shots that just completely, the floor isn't set when he shoots them. And I just don't get it. Cole, he was benched for Corey. Like, I checked his game log today. Because I remember there being some scuttlebutt. I wasn't watching the Magic last season, but he was basically benched for Corey Joseph last season. Corey Joseph is no longer in the league, but he's done this before, and I don't get the persistence with Cole Anthony. So yeah, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about the Cole situation, or yeah?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just with all the injuries the Bucks have sustained, I feel like he feels like there's an obligation to play Cole Anthony just to give Rollins a break. That is the only reason I would see that. Because yeah, like you said, he's a really good passer, but even Saturday he had more than double the turnovers than he did assists. He had 5 turnovers on 2 assists on Saturday. So it's like, even the thing he's supposed to be good at against good teams, he's not doing it. Like, and I hadn't taken a look at his shooting stats in a while. I did not realize how badly he was shooting at the free throw line. Like, we are talking sub Giannis levels from
53% for a backup point guard. That's like you're on your way out the league levels of bad.
Who
basically
was an 84% free throw shooter with the Magic.
Yeah.
So in his 5 years with them. So yeah, I feel like at this point it's just Doc has more trust in him than Mark Sears or even like Ajax to like kind of take over ball handling responsibilities off the bench. Which we'll get into that. We'll talk about Ajax's first big run against the Pistons. But yeah, I just obviously we want Giannis to come back, and that'll mask a lot of things. But honestly, I could more so, and you call me crazy, I cannot wait for Kevin Porter Jr. to come back. Like, honestly, of the two, because not only does it provide another ball handler, another scorer, at least some bigger body, at least at the point guard position, it's another ball handler to take some pressure off of Giannis and Rollins now. Yes, and again, and then at the end of it, which I brought this up, it will reduce Cole Anthony's role substantially because they will be able to run.
when KPJ comes back?
He will. He's averaging 19 minutes right now, which is basically Kevin Porter Jr. has been out for that entire time. I think he'll go down to averaging somewhere between like 10 to 13 minutes a night, just to like give both of those guys a break and maybe play him with Giannis in spurts, just so they're not tackling KPJ, who's coming back from an ankle and a meniscus injury, not overload Rilo, but also all that kind
That's
of stuff.
a good point about the injury. He won't be able to play. He's not going to come back playing like 30 minutes, is he?
No, because there'll be a ramp up period for him. Like he'll be on a minutes restriction for at least, I would guess, and that this is nothing I've heard or what they're going to do. I would guess at least the first week of games that KPJ is back, he'll be on a minutes restriction.
Yeah, Cole played. He played 14 minutes, which I believe was a season low for him. Maybe I might be wrong on that. I thought someone said it was a season low, but he played 12 minutes if you don't include garbage time. So, I mean, I think Doc's slowly getting it, but like, yeah.
So that is not a season low. He played 13 minutes in their loss against Sacramento, and when KPJ was healthy, he played 11. He basically played 12 minutes against Washington on opening night.
Right. Yeah.
And he was 4 or 5, and probably outside of that Toronto game, it's probably been one of his better games of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, he just keeps posting these like 2 for 8, 3 for 9 games, and you're like it's really funny. At some point, you know, I'll get to Ajax. I've got a little thing to say about him, but like it's at some point, like I get the role that he was brought in to play. Like there aren't many ball handlers on this team, and I totally get the concept of him playing, but it's just like the reality is a lot different from than the concept at this point. It's just like we spoke about Ajax. I will say I liked Doc's decision to put him in the court, because if nothing else, he's just this kind of long athlete that kind of runs fast and jumps high, and on a Bucks team has like not so much this team, but certainly in recent seasons, like that kind of pops on this team. I still have my reservations about Ajax, and like I see him playing against a bunch of teams where he's going to get played off the court in like a couple minutes, but with the current situation, you know, I get it, and I really liked what he provided in the game yesterday. Your Ajax thoughts?
Yeah, I was surprised as anybody like that he even played, because he up to that point he played 18 minutes in the season as a whole. So for him to
he scored,
he had not scored that free throw where he went 1 for 2 after he got basically tackled by Javonte Green. That was his first point of the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was shouts to him for that. I liked a lot of it. I thought his defense on Cade was pretty good. Obviously there's only so much you can do trying to guard a guy like him. I thought his passing was really good. The only thing, and I brought this up when Finn posted in our group discussion, that clip of him throwing that lob to Jericho, he kind of, and I guess this will come with reps if he does get them, he kind of gets lost offensively, like after he passes the ball. Like he feels like he has to screen. He tried setting a screen for Myles Turner after he threw him the ball, and then he kind of floated to the other side, and I think Cole Anthony was out there, and he just kind of handed it to Cole, set him a screen, and then did all that.
It's kind of this random. But yeah, kind of what you're describing, I'm thinking this kind of part of my issue with it is like, what do you do with him on offense? And like, He did. I will say the three that he stepped into, he looked more confident in like just letting it go, but he kind of the defense is always backing off of him and he doesn't shoot it. And so then he kind of like passes it and sets a screen, and which I understand that, but there's not really any rhyme or reason behind a lot of the stuff that he does. And like you think about him going up against a ginormous team like the Orlando Magic, for example, and you're just like, this style of play is going to have a shelf life. Yeah, do you have any other thoughts on Ajax?
Yeah, and I think maybe, again, like I said, maybe it's just a matter of like him getting reps like on the floor with these guys and trying to figure out where he's supposed to go. I mean, I even wrote it down like in my notes for that game yesterday. It's like Ajax rhythm 3. Like what? Like he's been this is his third year with it. I've never seen him take like an in rhythm 3 that's looked that confident. So, and no, I'm not going to say he's going to turn into a league average 3-point shooter or anything like that. I think if he believes, like if he takes them with confidence and just takes them in rhythm, he's going to make a lot more of them than people would normally expect. So I think maybe this is just you start reducing how much Cole plays and you let Ajax kind of run the offense and kind of just dish it out for the most part. Yeah. And then if you do decide to play them together, just basically be like, okay, Ajax, you're going to be on the perimeter and then in the dunker spot, just kind of like moving along as the offense goes. And no, you don't have to set a screen for Myles Turner and mess up the spacing.
Yeah, it feels like, I don't know, the whole notion that you need a point guard out there to run competent offense seems like a concept. Like it's obviously preferable, but in today's day and age, like I don't know why Ajax couldn't pass it to the big on the elbow and go, you know, like set a kind of like a zoom action for a guy on the corner, or like, I don't know, the whole like we need a point guard out there notion. If the point guard that you have out there, Cole Anthony, is just like throwing up bricks the whole game, like it feels like you can get away with some other personnel and just maybe you're not running pick and roll with the point guard, but you're doing other stuff with them and stuff. So yeah, I had in my notes here, I was just thinking about Doc and like, so I was thinking about the Miami Heat and like Eric Spoelstra, right? And they have had, they really struggled on offense for the past like 3 years or whatever. And Eric Spoelstra basically was like, he feels like a coach where every bit of talent and like potential that the team that his team has, he's generally going to try and squeeze it out of that. And if something's not working, he's going to make changes. And they had a team where they don't really have a lot of finesse players and like pick and roll savants other than like Tyler Hero, really. And he just said, screw it, we're not going to run pick and roll. We're just going to do but we're going to like reorient our offense around a dribble drive kind of concept, because what they do have and what their strengths are is they have a lot of burly, big guys who can really get to the rim and kind of kamikaze themselves to the rim and use their strength in that way. And the Heat are just firing on all cylinders. Or I'm not sure what their record is of recent, but they certainly started off the season really well, and I think they've got a pretty decent record right now. Yeah, it feels like he really that's a coach where he really gets the most out of what he has, and it feels like with Doc, if your ceiling is like a 7 out of 10 team, Doc will cap you at a 5 out of 10 team. And you know, he was known in Philly. I listened to a fair few of the funny podcasts that Philly did during the Doc era. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez is a really good one that I like to listen to. And he's just known as kind of being stubborn and a know-it-all. And I'm not sure what you think of him being in the media room, but like, I don't know, man. it feels like he really lacks the creativity to coach in the current era. And when it's all said and done, we will have long conversations about the coaching hires that this franchise has made during the Giannis era.
Yeah, and before I get into that portion of it, the Heat are 11-6 on the year. They're fourth in the East. They're a half game back of the Cavs, and to the shock of everyone, a game back of the Toronto Raptors, who are the 2 seed at 12-5.
Yeah.
So looks like no RJ Barrett to Milwaukee anytime soon, unfortunately. But in terms of media room, I kind of see where you're coming from. We're saying he's a know-it-all, and not. It feels mean to say that, but I guess it's true. Because I swear, every time any of us in the media room start to ask a question and get part of the way through, he automatically feels like he knows what we're trying to ask and just cuts us off before we can even finish the question. And that's because for me, part of me understands why he does it, because he's been coaching for since at least the 90s when he was with Orlando. Yeah, so at least since then, as far as I can remember, he's heard tens of thousands of questions that are very similar to each other. So I'm not trying to give him grief or whatever for it, but it kind of feeds into that where he has all this experience and he feels like he knows a lot, and he does. As the saying goes, he forgets more about basketball than I will probably ever know. But as for your point, and I agree. When I wrote it in my recap, it feels like he's just not very creative offensively, because it just feels like every possession is pick and roll, dribble, handoff, pick and roll, dribble, handoff, pick and roll. And occasionally they'll throw out a play or two that has some off ball movement or cutting action on the other side. Or the thing is, he ran some great out of timeout plays for AJ Green. There are times where set a double flare for him to get open, or let's set a flare for him to get open. And it looks really good, and he'll hit a 3 or at least get a great look at a 3. But it just feels like in the half court, there's just not a lot of creativity other than you have to have a guy who can dissect the defense. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not gonna have you bring it up, so I'll bring it up. The late game offenses, which we talked about. Doc even said that play for Rollins at the end was supposed to be an ISO for Rollins. So there was no other action. Okay, let's get, because the game was tied at that point. So maybe, I don't know, set of a flare for AJ Green and have him take a 3, or have a lob play because they were throwing it from the sideline. So maybe throw a lob, or do I don't know how much 2K you've played of, but whenever you need an end of game 3, they always have a play set up where the big sets a screen near the elbow extended for you to run to the corner and shoot a 3. Yeah. Run that play. If a video game knows to run some sort of action to get an open shot other than to set up an ISO, you should be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, the late game offense, it seems like it was when Dame was on the team, it was give the ball to Dame and he'll just literally ISO and just shoot it basically every time. And now that Dame's gone, it's Giannis, which is an asset. That's just an asinine strategy, but I've talked about that. And then the other thing with Doc that I feel like I don't know if you would be able to add any context to this, but watching the games, I feel like he feels very he feels like he's able to really get on Rollins and get on kind of the younger players, but that he would never speak that way to any of the star players or Turner or any of the more senior players. And it feels like there's a hierarchy of okay, you're my guy, and I don't speak to you that way, but like, I don't know. I always see him coming out of timeouts, and he's like, Rollins is like doing a good job from all accounts, and I always see him shouting at him, and I'm like, brother, like, I don't know, and I don't have a problem with that, but at least be consistent when it's like everyone's doing it. That's my issue.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that. The only thing I have to kind of go off of is Lisa Byington asked about what Ryan said about that shot at the game against Philly, and Ryan basically said he could have gotten a better shot. And I guess Doc went up to him and said, like, no, you got the best shot you possibly could. We screwed up the play. But he said, like, I'm glad that you said that. Like, even if it's technically not true what he was saying, like the fact that he was willing to take the accountability. So I think I don't know.
He's better than what he was. It sounds like he's better than what he was in Philly, but those old kind of that old muscle memory, I don't believe is really all the way worn off.
Yeah, because I remember we were talking last year at points like how frustrated we were. His like refusal to play AJ Green and Andre Jackson Jr. Like before he got his big run and like shut down SGA, quote unquote. But like, yeah, I feel like I agree. He is getting better, and again, I feel like he's being forced to partially because at least for the very least, Torian Prince is out, so that's one less veteran he can turn to. And just how the roster was constructed. I mean, Giannis, Bobby, Torian, like three of the oldest players on the team that get regular minutes. Obviously, Thanasis is there too. So if you just feel like that's just kind of where it was, and that's what Doc has to been forced to do. So I don't know if I see a hierarchy, but I agree he probably doesn't get on the star players or the more veteran players. But I mean, he did say like that Myles was kind of rushing it a little bit on offense and kind of needs to, I don't know if be more aggressive was the way he put it, but basically like maybe not turn down some open looks. So I feel like he's seemingly being very fair in his criticism, whether it's an established guy like Myles Turner or an up and coming guy like Ryan Rollins. So maybe not in game. Maybe I'm missing something in game while watching it.
Yeah.
But at least from what he says post game, it feels at least very even.
Yep. What did you learn this week?
I learned that the Bucks desperately need another ball handler next to Rollins. They talked about AJ Green talked about after the Pistons game that they like weren't giving him like enough safety valves, and like it was basically, and like you said, four guys standing around and needing like Rollins to like take the ball up. I mean, occasionally like Jericho would stay down there and like help like phantom screen whoever was guarding Rollins so he could get up the floor, but they just need someone else so that Rollins isn't like turning into like Russell Westbrook and like James Harden, like that pairing when they were on the Rockets together, where Harden is just having to control so much of the offense. So that's the biggest thing. It's just they need someone else who can manage the offense. And obviously, there are two guys who can do that right now in Giannis and KPJ. So the injury gods need to heal the Bucks a lot faster for that to happen. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's just like he's just been thrown to the proverbial wolves at this point in terms of how much of the offense he has to carry. Like he's been the leading shot taker the last two games, these full games without Giannis. So they need someone so he can take a damn break.
Yeah, it's a tough one because, like we said, that guy should be Cole Anthony, right? But he's just not really performing. And like we mentioned, like that's where you understand why Doc's playing him. Yeah, like you think there's a lot of wings on this team. There's really not a lot of point guards. I mean, honestly, like Mark Sears could be an option just to take ball handling responsibilities off Rollins, I guess. Maybe play them together because Rollins can play probably the 2 spot, possibly the 3 spot in certain lineups. So I don't know whether if they do end up moving away from Cole Anthony, they just like have Mark Sears bring the ball up and then kind of just play as like a corner spacer in his minutes. That could be an option. But yeah, I mean, what other point guards are there on the option on the roster? There's, you've got like Amir Coffey, Gary Harris. Like those guys aren't point guards. Yeah, I mean they have Pete. They have Pete Nance on a 2-way. Obviously, I mean I'm not saying he's a point guard, but they have another 2-way spot being taken up by Alex Antetokounmpo. That's a pointless decision in my book. Like, if you could move him and get a point guard in, that'd be great. But I guess he's there to stay. So, I mean, I'm trying to think of kind of like what strategy they could employ to help out Rollins, but there really doesn't seem like there's a whole lot imminently available to them.
Call me crazy because he was on triple double watch the other day. Cut Amir Coffey and bring on Victor Oladipo.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
it's not crazy.
He's the former All-Star. He's a former Most Improved Player. Like, I know we talked about it a little bit when the signing first happened. I think it was in that game against Sacramento when the signing was officially announced. I feel like if he could like get in his like, he's not going to be an all-star again. I'm not saying he's coming to be the next Chris Middleton or something crazy like that. I'm at this little spot in my brain where it's like, could Victor Oladipo like make the Bucks roster at this point? Like if he gets like a few months into the season, like with the herd, and it's like he's putting up like ridiculous numbers, like averaging 20, 27, 28 points per game. Like I feel like there's a point where you can't deny him a spot, and like you're not playing Amir Coffey anymore. You don't have Taurean Prince, but you've been playing Gary Harris at that and Gary Trent in that spot anyway to kind of fill in those minutes. And when Giannis and Kevin Porter Jr. come back, that'll eat more into the rotation. But who knows? I honestly would rather just give Oladipo a shot at it to see what he can do if he's playing well. Obviously, if he's like middling in the G League, then I'm like, all right, you can just stay in the G League, bud. But yeah, in terms of like the Mark Sears stuff, I think like, hey, the last time you had a 2-way point guard from a second round pick, it worked out pretty well, didn't it? So I feel like you gotta at least try.
I just want to see it. And like, if he gets dominated on defense, like when he's playing defense, like in the first 3 minutes, then it's like, okay, cool, we tried. He's got a proven track record. Like he can absolutely bring up the ball for you, and he's got a proven track record of shooting the ball well over a lot of years in college. So like, it could be interesting. And then honestly, dude, like Amir Coffey is on a non-guaranteed deal, right? So he would be easy to cut. I believe he's on a non-guaranteed deal, and
maybe.
Yeah, I feel. From memory,
even if he isn't, he would be on a 1-year vet min, which is easy to just cut. I mean, they did the same thing with Tyler Smith.
For the listeners, I have a funny setup with my laptop where when I plug my I don't have enough inputs to plug in my my keyboard. So when I ask a question, I like low-key relying on Jackson to get me the answers because I can't actually type. which is just hilarious. I need a new laptop badly, but anyway. But yeah, your idea about cutting Coffee and replacing him with more of a playmaker, a guy who can kind of knife into the defense and make stuff happen. I mean, if Amir Coffee is just out of the rotation, I don't see why it's not worth a shot. So I actually think that's a pretty good shout.
Yeah. Yeah, because he was brought in on an Exhibit 9. Okay, so both Exhibit 9 and 10 contracts are a 1-year, fully non-guaranteed contract. Yeah, so technically they could just get rid of him at any point. So as far as, at least I think that's how, because a vet min is like, it depends on how much you've played in the league. So yeah, because the last transaction it says is signed Exhibit 9 with Milwaukee. So yeah, it's a non-guaranteed contract.
Cool. All right. What's the guy's name? Oladipo. You are a Milwaukee Buck. Well, I was going to say Adebayo, and then I'm like, wait, what? It's not Adebayo.
I mean, hey, I would love. I mean, it'd be a weird fit, but hey, I love Bam Adebayo in this team too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just speaking of ball handlers, because we keep bringing up our Discord chat just because it's what we do. There's the Sacramento Kings I've basically said they're in full fire sale mode. Now basically everyone but Nick Crawford and I think they said Keon Ellis, or I could be wrong. There's two guys that they're not. Keegan Murray was the other one. Do you would you go after a guy like DeMar or Zach LaVine to bring in? And just for those listening, it would be bring in LaVine. It would be a minimum Kuzma and Portis to make the contracts work.
So on principle, I am against trading a future first this season. And if we did, it would have to be at least lottery protected. That's just me. That's kind of my outlook on things. So I think I'd lean towards no, but like I said, if it's a top 20 protected first, I don't really hate it. But yeah, I'm not sure how big of a needle mover bringing in one of those guys is. It takes the Bucks from a 10th seed to an 8th seed, because the East is pretty damn strong at the top, and those teams that used to be below the Bucks are really surging right now, and it feels like the tide of the Bucks versus these other teams is kind of moving in opposite directions, and I don't want them to blow more future capital on something that's not gonna really help them. That's just my read on it. Maybe you think it could help them a lot. I am generally a Zach LaVine fan. I think he's better than kind of his rep would suggest, but I would probably lean no. But what are your thoughts?
In terms of DeRozan, and me and Jim Ozarski, when the Kings were in town, we were talking about it with, I think, the guy who writes for the Sacramento Bee. DeMar, you would not have to trade any draft picks if you wanted to get DeMar DeRozan. They were just being very clear right now. And obviously this was before some of the developments that Kyle Kuzma has gone under. And it would basically be a Kuzma for DeRozan swap at that point. So the problem is DeRozan would be that somewhat Chris Middleton type player where you can give him the ball in late game situations and have him ISO. The thing is, he just does not fit what the Bucks overall are trying to do as a whole.
Yeah, he doesn't really shoot threes, which is an issue. But
it's not even the shooting the threes part. It's just the pace and the at least potentially the defense they've been trying to play. Yeah. That's the bigger issue. I don't care. I don't care if he doesn't shoot threes. You just put another bunch of 3-point shooters around him. It works out great. A la 2021-22 Chicago Bulls. Had Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, and Vucevic around him for 3 good 3-point shooters and like an average 3-point shooter around DeRozan. That team was number 1 in the East at the All-Star, or number 2 in the East at the All-Star break. So there is a formula for that. Obviously, that was 3 or 4 years ago. Not saying DeRozan's the same player. But in terms
he's
of
also a sieve on defense, which is not ideal.
which would be terrible. So
yeah,
the cost of getting DeRozan makes it worth it, but the fit and everything else about it like doesn't. The cost.
I mean, honestly, like if you want to throw, it's low risk, medium reward. I don't hate the DeRozan thing. If you don't have to, obviously you don't have to you won't be giving any pick for DeRozan, but. As far as LaVine, I probably would steer clear. But the DeRozan idea for Kuzma, I mean, if they can sign a backup 4 some way, I mean, honestly, actually, Bobby can play the 4. They could probably paper over that decently well. So I actually don't hate it. I know DeRozan has been more of a 4-man than I feel like he's been more of a 4 than a 3 in his time with the Kings. I know he played the 4 a lot with the Spurs when he was with them. So, but yeah, I actually don't hate it. It's a decent idea.
Yeah. So at least actually no, that deal could get done today if it was Kuzma for DeRozan, because both of them have been, DeRozan signed with them. Is this the second year with the Kings? I can't remember.
Oh. Yeah,
no.
Second year, I think. It was the start of last year he joined them, I want to say.
Okay, I cannot remember for the life of me, because I always get it mixed up because LaVine was traded during the season, and he was a trade guy.
LaVine was involved in the Fox deal.
Yes. Okay. So this is his second year with the Kings. I think he signed a multi-year deal with them when he was signed and traded from the Bulls. Okay. So that deal could get done today. And then you cut Amir Coffey and you bring in a guy like a center to kind of run with Bobby. I don't know anyone off the top of my head. I think the cost of it, like I said, could be interesting, but the fit may not be there. Although you could have run some fun lineups if you wanted DeRozan at the 4 and Giannis at the 5. I think you could do some really fun things with that. As for the LaVine stuff, and I parsed out a trade for that, it would basically be Kuzma, Portis. I threw in Amir Coffey, the 2031 lottery protected for Zach LaVine and Drew Eubanks. You get that backup 5 replacement. And then the Kings would have to cut Doug McDermott. He's on a vet min, that's nothing. The idea with LaVine, he shoots threes, he fits in pace wise. He's just so horribly overpaid is the problem. Like if he was deal? He got a max that year after the Bulls made the playoffs. So he's making $46 million this year, and then he has a player option next year for $48.
Yeah.
So, and this trade would add like another $11 million to the Bucks books. So again, if he was making like 35 million, this would be an easy deal. And you could do like Kuzma, Ajax, a lesser protected 2031 pick, and that would be great. But again, he's making over $45 million, and that's the complicated part of it. But in terms of if they actually happen in the fit, he shoots threes, he's athletic, he runs and pace. On a good team, he competes on defense. And I think he's another ball handler, so you could try out a lineup of KPJ, Rollins, Giannis, and Turner. That's a pretty good lineup at the end of the day.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I'm generally a fan of LaVine. I think like the rumors that the Nuggets were interested in him. I want to say last year around the trade deadline, and they were going to do an MPJ swap. I thought that was an interesting idea. Him kind of being like a kind of finishing touch for a team like that. Once again, like you got to, how close are you to competing for a title, and or how far are you, sort of thing. So yeah, like I said, I'm a fan of LaVine. I just don't. You probably count me, my personal opinion, count me out on getting him. But yeah, I'd probably count me out. But I do like him as a player.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, it was reported at the deadline before the Bucks traded for Kuzma that the Bucks were interested in getting LaVine at the deadline. It's just shout out to Bradley Beal. Shout out to Bradley Beal for waiving his no trade clause so he didn't have to go to the Bulls.
I do remember that, and it was because he didn't want to go to like a cold weather city or something. It's like, come on, Brad.
Like they'll just buy you out, like,
yeah,
or what? That's basically what the Suns ended up doing. Like, just ask for a buyout right away. You'll be fine, and you can sign somewhere. But yeah, anyway, but yeah, at the end of the day, the Bucks need another ball handler next to Rollins, whether that's guys coming back or maybe they do add someone after December 15th and maybe even closer to the trade deadline. But we'll move on from some of the hypotheticals and the hopes that we have and focus back in on the near future with this Bucks team. We'll go ahead and already jump into our predictions. Another 4-game week for the Bucks. When you're listening to this on Monday, they'll be playing the Portland Trail Blazers. Damian Lillard, per Bobby Portis, will be back in Milwaukee for the first time this offseason. Then they'll have a day off. They'll travel to the warm weather of Miami for the third NBA Cup game. See if they can make it back to the NBA Cup knockout round. Then they will also play on Black Friday. They'll take on the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden. And then they will, again, have another back-to-back after playing a NBA Cup game on a Friday. They will then host the Brooklyn Nets on Saturday. Record predictions.
Deciding between 0-4 and 1-3. I think it'll be one. I think it'll be 1-3. The Blazers. I'm pretty high on the Blazers. I think they have something really good brewing there. I think their defense is going to be their calling card. They kind of remind me of the early Bud Bucks a little bit. And the Heat, they're hooping. The Knicks, I mean, I just think they're going to overpower the Bucks without Giannis. And then you hope you can win the Nets game. So let's go 1-3 for me.
Yeah, I was actually debating between 1-3 and 2-2. I'm gonna put down the Green Goblin mask, and I'm gonna say 1-3 and as well. Yeah, because I want to throw like my own emotion into it. I'm like, oh, they're gonna play up and try and beat Dame's team and all that kind of stuff, and try and go out with a win. But they're a less talented version in some ways to the Pistons, where they have just a bunch of big athletes at every single position, and it's just gonna make it incredibly hard. Like they're gonna throw Tumani Kamara on Rollins for.
I was about to say Kamara is going to terrorize Ryan.
So, and then they still have Scoot Henderson and Shadon Sharp, Denny Avdia as well. So they're gonna have a ton of bodies to throw at Rollins, and it's just gonna be on someone else for the Bucks. Maybe Gary Trent catches fire for once this season. We'll see. But then, yeah, the Heat Knicks, like you said, maybe they get a riser because it's in the NBA Cup games and they have Darvin Ham and rostered Taurean Prince, so they can't lose group stage games. But I just don't see it happening. I could maybe be convinced of them beating Miami just because you never know how things go with them. They can start out hot or slow. It's just they're just kind of a weird team overall. Although Tyler Hero is coming back and he'll be back for that game on Wednesday ahead of time. So yeah, probably, and then lose to the Knicks. They're just
really. He's going to be playing.
Yeah, he's coming back to play tomorrow.
Oh wow!
He's going to play Monday. He's going to play Monday, and then obviously he'll probably play Wednesday. So
there you go.
Yeah,
I thought he was out for another few weeks, but yeah.
No, I just saw something that said that he'll be back for Monday. So yeah, so maybe they will run some pick and rolls now that he'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, the Knicks, yes, the Bucks beat them early in the season, but they had Giannis and Kyle Kuzma defended his ass off against Cat. But with no Giannis, it's just going to be Anunoby and Mikal Bridges on Ryan Rollins. Like, it's not going to be good. And then the Nets are currently 3-13. If the Bucks go 0-4 this week, you heard it here first. The Bucks go 0-4 this week, I think Doc Rivers gets fired. Like, I think we are treading those waters. Like, you will have the excuse to lose to Portland, Miami, New York, honest, because those are pretty good teams. You lose to Brooklyn, the double black hole colliding in Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. I don't care who you could be. Greg Popovich combined with Phil Jackson, you are getting fired.
I will say the Nets gave the Raptors a good run for their money tonight. They only lost by 10. So, hey man, it's not completely out of the question.
And we know, like, the Nets gave the Bucks so much trouble last year too.
Oh my God, we went 1-3 against them last year.
Yeah, it was not good. But hey,
and
maybe instead of having to do it,
is an excellent coach.
He gets
no matter his personnel, he gets his guys to play uber physical defense and like, oh God, imagine if Jordi Fernandez was the Bucks coach. That would be amazing.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Like, hey, if the Bucks are gonna trade some of those draft picks, maybe trade them for a coach. It's not the first time they've done it. They did it for Jason Kidd.
Did they?
Hey, do you want that? Yeah, they traded picks for Jason Kidd.
Interesting, because I know that Doc was traded for picks when he went from Boston to the Clippers. I want to say there was like a second round pick involved in that or something. But yeah. I did not know that.
Hey, Brooklyn, do you want this 2032 top 18 protected first round pick from the Bucks? We would take Jordi Fernandez off your hands.
I would die.
But yeah, I'll go 1-3 as well. I think they'll beat the Nets. Like, they can't lose to the Nets, right?
right.
Okay. Well, thank you for everyone listening up to this point. You listen to all the basketball stuff. If you're staying longer, that means you must really like us, because now we're in the non-basketball stuff. And we're debuting a new segment on this episode. We're very excited to talk about it. Jack, I have named this, and let me know how you feel about it. What's this Aussie slang?
I love it. Yeah. So I don't know. It's funny. Everyone else has like a non-basketball miscellaneous segment, and I'm quite boring. I generally just watch a crap ton of basketball. I don't really have too many other hobbies. Like, obviously I like Aussie rules football and stuff, but yeah, I'm not like a Lego guy, or I don't love movies like Kyle does, or is it called fountain pens that Riley's into? I can't quite remember.
Yeah. and you're not
Yeah.
traveling the world like Morgan does.
But I thought obviously the differentiating factor is obviously me and Zach are from the other side of the world. So we speak a bit differently over here. And so I thought I'd introduce a segment. I'd throw away my old segment and do define or what's this Aussie slang? So all right, I've got two slang words for you, Jackson, and you have to guess what they mean.
Oh,
the first one is I will give you $1 bazillion if you get this, because I don't. This is tough. But what does dinky die mean, Jackson?
Dinky die, like DIKYDIE?
DINKYDI. 2 words.
Oh,
dinky die.
Dinky die. Oh God.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is not my official guess. My first thought, for some reason, it was like it had to do with like cooking, and it's like just a little dinky die of this in the soup.
I should probably offer you like a clue. It's like what you say, like it's a describing sort of term. Like I'm being dinky die. Like this is dinky die.
Oh, this is dinky die. Ooh. Well, at least I'm going to guess by the tone of your voice that dinky die is not a good thing. So I'm going to basically say it's like describing something that's like bad.
It's the opposite. It is. Oh. It's basically dinky die means this is legitimate. This is genuine. Okay. This is authentic, or I'm being honest with you. I'm being dinky die with you. I'm not pulling your leg here. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm just gonna pull that out. Like, because I don't remember if you remember, I tutor high school students. So they have binder checks on Tuesdays. And so I'm going to go up to one of them and like give them their binder back. And I'm like, this was a very dinky die binder, my friend.
I love it.
And just completely rig them out. That's awesome.
All right. Real quick. Number 2, smoko. What does smoko mean? And I'll give you a clue. Smoko is like a time period of like it's a period of time. Without giving the rest away, it's a period of time throughout the day, I guess.
Smoko.
And the clue is also in the name.
Smoko. Ooh, is that like noon? Because like that's when the sun is the highest, so there's be a lot of smoke if there's a wildfire. Am I like going too hard on this?
No. Nah.
Okay.
Do you have any other sort of ideas?
Well, I mean, there's only like 3 or 4 other options I could go with. Is it like early evening? Like whereas dusk is coming in?
Yeah, I realized my clue was maybe like it's kind of apt, but I should have explained it better. It's like, all right, I'll give it away. Smoko is like a break from work where people go and they smoke their cigarette.
Oh my God. That was so obvious. How did I not see that?
Yeah, but it's like, it's known as like, even if you don't, like, smoking is not good, people shouldn't do it. But like, yes. Just generally like a break from work, like a tea break or whatever it is. So, yeah, people just say, you want to, like, especially tradies, like people who work on like house sites and stuff, like whatever they're doing. Hey, you want to go on Smoko now? You go and take your 30-minute break and go and have something to eat. So yeah, there you go.
Damn, that makes so much sense now. I'm kind of mad I didn't get that one. I'm okay with not getting Dinky Die, but the fact that I didn't get Smoko kind of bothers me.
There you go.
Oh. That was awesome. That was so much fun. I love that. I cannot wait for next time for this one. This is gonna be fun.
There's a fair few options, so I don't think I'm gonna run out by the end of the season, but yeah. It should be a fun segment, I think. Probably more fun than my last segment, if I'm being quite honest.
Hey, I mean, it's like someone who is like has a lot of other stuff going on. Like, it's kind of fun to learn about like other basketball around the world, because I feel like sometimes I barely even have enough time for like NBA basketball as is. So I appreciated that part of it. But this was really fun too. So I'm excited to do this again. We'll go into mine now. It should be fairly quick. If you remember last week, I talked about that I had 2 Lego sets that had fallen over because of how my bed is, and it shakes when I walk up the ladder, just how it is. And I had to rebuild 2 of them. So last week I showed you Bumblebee and what I kind of had to fix, and now I will show you the one I fixed last time. So give me like 30 seconds to go grab it. Okay. All right.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. Okay. So for those, oh my god, I did things. So this, for those who don't know, is an AT-AT walker. This is the the inexpensive one that they had. They actually retired this set, I think, like a few months ago. So the main part of the body was fine. There's just a couple of spots on the legs I had to reattach parts. The biggest part, of course, that I had to fix was the head. Or like basically entire chunks of the head were just gone. And I had to like, it wasn't too bad to rebuild, thankfully, but like it was rough. Just as like this whole thing was basically fine. And then there's this thing with, like, you can just see the inside of the seat the entire time. So yeah, this was pretty simple overall, but it was just a little annoying at points just because of how it goes sometimes. But yeah, and I like to refer to this as like my little gray plastic dog, because whenever I walk, because I have it set up on my TV underneath my bed, so it just kind of looks at me like whenever I'm playing games on there or something. So whenever I come in, I give a little pet on the head. I'm like, "How you doing, my little gray plastic dog?"
This is a Star Wars thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's so funny. I'm not like a Star Wars guy. But I clearly have watched the movies, because I immediately recognized this thing when you brought it up. And in the deep recesses of my brain, I'm like, that's a thing from Star Wars. So yeah, and it looks exactly the same, which I guess is what's meant to happen. But yeah, good job on the rebuild.
Yeah, and then I just had to reattach it. This is actually Luke. There's a little string, a little thing you attach, and if I can find it, where is it? Oh, here it is. There's a little compartment you open up here, and then you can like pull him up or lower him down, which is kind of fun.
Luke Skywalker, that's who.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. There's probably only one Luke in Star Wars. That was probably a dumb question.
No, you're good. When was the last time you watched the Star Wars movie? Just so I really know where I'm working with.
Gosh, maybe like 12 years old.
Yeah, so I think you're allowed to be a little fuzzy on who is who. So that's a pass.
I appreciate that.
No problem. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you once again, Jack, for hopping on again. It's always a lot of fun to do these pods with you. Thank you everyone who listened through our somewhat coherent thoughts on the Milwaukee Bucks and the world of Aussie slang and some little bit of Lego stuff. So make sure to head on over to brewhoop.com if you want the latest about the Milwaukee Bucks. My preview for the game against the Portland Trail Blazers and Damian Lillard's return to Milwaukee will be up in the morning. And then I will actually not be in Milwaukee for once. I had something come up and are not able to attend. So the wonderful Finn is going to be filling in for me. He will be at Pfizer Forum doing the rapid and extended recaps for you. So make sure to head on over there. And then we have some larger pieces coming out shortly. I have one that I'm trying to work on about what some of the other NBA coaches are thinking about this new look Bucks team. I got a really great answer from Nick Nurse on Thursday, head coach of the Sixers. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure to head on over. Make sure to interact with our game threads on the feed now. I know I've gotten some feedback from some of the people on the site. We're not a fan of it, but it really does help us out to interact on there. And we love hearing from you guys. So, Jack, any final thoughts before we end episode 223?
No, not really. I mean, it's going to be an interesting patch for the Bucks, obviously, with Giannis still being out. Yeah, I mean, the East is a lot better than kind of like those up-and-coming teams are really rising. So, I mean, the Bucks are going to have their work cut out for them even when Giannis returns. So, but it should be, I don't know, it should be an interesting week.
Yeah, and by the next time we record, we will be potentially just days away from Giannis and Kevin Porter Jr.'s return to the Milwaukee Bucks. So, excuse me. Until then, thank you again for listening, and we will catch you all next week.